Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Vandy Wellness Group training series on how to build a great home-based business. Once again, my name is Frank Vandy. I am the co-founder of the Vandy Wellness Group, along with my wife, Catherine. Before moving on to some of the specifics of how our training program works, I wanted to take a little bit of time with you guys because we've thrown just a ton of information at you in these first two videos, and I wanted to take a little bit of time here to recap some of what I think are the highlights of what you've seen so far so that you make sure that you have a good understanding of some of the specific details that are important. So let's get started. So we started out the first video talking to you guys about the fact that we had dinner with our mentor not too long ago, and he talked to us about the concept of owning your own life. And he said, guys, have you ever thought about what it would be like to own your own life? And he explained it to us this way. What would it be like if you had the time and money to do the things you really love to do? And remember, he emphasized really in love because it's not just the things we do in everyday life. Owning your own life is about being able to go out and do whatever it is you want, even if it seems extravagant to you today, right? And we all have that same 24 hours a day. And, if you subtract out all the things you see on the screen that take a lot of time in our life, how much time do you have left over, right? And, and again, and then how much money do you have left over to do the things you really love to do? And then he went and talked about the ways we typically go out and make a living. So we talked about, going out, getting educated, going out and getting a job that, it's really not the same as it was 40 years ago. It's a difficult environment to work in. You don't get to choose who you work with, who you work for. Um, you're limited in how much you can make. There's not a lot of loyalty from companies anymore. You hear about people being downsized in their jobs all the time, and you have to work a ton of hours. We also talked about starting your own business, a brick and mortar business, and just the huge financial risk that goes along with that. And all the specialized skills that you need and the long, long hours that you have to put in. And oh, by the way, if your business isn't open, you're not making money, so there really is no residual income, and there's no residual income at owning your own job or working at a job. Um, to cut down the risk that a lot of people have in a brick and mortar business, a lot of people start a franchise, but franchise comes along with an even bigger financial investment, and it's not a guarantee that things can't go wrong. Again, specialized skills are needed and long, long hours involved in here. Again, no residual income. So, do you own your own life with this type, any of these business? And I think we came to the conclusion that no, you don't. And we talked about why this is so important, right? There's a Social Security Administration study that showed that really 95% of the people who work 45 years, guys, 45 years working at a job don't have enough money to retire, right? 1%, inherited money, so they're doing just fine. But the 4%, there's 4% who become financially independent, and it's because they went out and they built their own business to generate the income. They didn't spend their 45 years building someone else's business, they built their own business. Now we shifted gears a little bit, and we talked about how product is typically moved in the United States and around the world, a typical supply chain. Right? You've got raw materials that get shipped into a factory. We talked about Tide detergent, all the expense that it takes in a factory to take those raw materials and create a product, the expense of the factory, the machines, the people, again, storing safely all those raw materials, the packaging, then all the transportation to get it out of those factories into places like Walmart's distribution centers, all the expense involved in this distribution center, for these really large buildings, all the people, all the machines, and then all the transportation outbound from there to get it to a Walmart store, and then all the expense that goes into advertising. And all this money goes into the cost of the goods that the company has to pay for. We then introduced you to the concept of building a distributor network. And there are companies out there that have foregone that supply chain that we learned about in that last slide. And typically what the merchandise gets moved directly from a factory to your customers, right? So you go out and find customers, and you go find distributors who go find customers. And then these companies will then take that and ship it right to I'm going to kind of go over you because you don't have to handle the product. It goes right to your customers, and right to your distributors when they buy, and right to their customers here. So you don't have to touch any of the product. And we introduce you to the concept that we have put together a step-by-step system that won't require you to do any selling. We're going to teach you theories around attraction marketing and other processes where people are going to be asking you, can you please help me? I need help with this. And you're going to be able to supply them with a great product. And then we're going to teach you ways to go out and find, great distributors and, that will go out and do the same thing. And we told you that our mentor told us about the concepts of leverage and residual income, and he said, guys, if you can understand these two concepts and understand what I'm going to tell you over the next 5 minutes, it's going to change your way of thinking about wealth building for the rest of your life. And it really did. It was like a veil was lifted, and we realized how incredible building this type of business can be. So again, leverage is making money from other people's work, and we walked you through a bunch of examples of that. And then residual income, getting paid for a long time for the work you do today. And the amazing thing about Shackley is the average customer stays with Shackley for over 17 years. So you get paid, you get all those customers that you get today, they will stay with you on average for 17 years, some more, some less, but average is 17 years, and you'll get paid month after month for them. Then we walked you through a lot of examples of our fictitious ABC company, right? So started you with, when you start by yourself with 20 customers at spend $150 a month each, that generated $3,000 per month. At your 20% commission, you got $600. And we walked you through the next level, level 2 at 12,000 and at 7%, and then all the way down to level 3 and below, all the way through 5. We walked you through, and that level 5 generating over $23,000 a month for you, in up to 300,000, close to $300,000 a year at this level, all by just finding 4 people, following, getting them to this video series, and spending a few minutes on a phone with them, and we'll walk you through exactly how to do that, and then answering some questions for them. We then introduced you to Rick Seymour, who's our health and wellness consultant, who really spent some time and introduced us to Shackley. And Rick spent some time talking to you about why Shackley is really, really so different in the quality of the product, the testing that goes in, and then really about the business opportunity. So Rick started by telling us that obesity is the #1 epidemic in the U.S. In fact, there are more than 4 times as many deaths related to obesity as there are cancer. That's a stunning fact. We are literally eating ourselves into the grave. So, what the interesting thing is, when you look at the fact that 66% of the population is looking for help with their weight, it represents a great opportunity to build a business. It's a great market to be in, but it also represents an opportunity for you to help a lot of people who need that help. So, and here we go. As we said, 66% of Americans are now overweight or obese, and that the typical person goes on a diet 4 times a year. So if all these diets that came out worked, how many diets would they go on, right? If it worked, they'd go on 1, and that would be the last diet they ever needed. But typically people go on 4 diets a year, so they're searching for an opportunity to lose weight. So Rick then introduced us to Shackley 180 with leucine. I will tell you, I was introduced to Shackley 180 a little bit different than you guys are. We went to health and wellness where we learned about Shackley, and we decided to become distributors. But we didn't know about Shackley 180. It just happened to come in a kit that we ended up buying. So I started using it, and Catherine and I it was like Christmas Day when the package came. We divvied up. You try this, you try this, you try this. I took the Shackley 180 stuff and started using it, and what I had found is 30 days later I had lost about 10 pounds and about 3.5 inches from my waist, and another 30 days, so 60 days total, I had lost a total of 20 pounds and 4.5 inches from my waist, and it really transformed the way I look. So guys, I will tell you, it's a great product. Since that time, we've helped dozens and dozens of other people lose weight the same way that I did. It is an amazing product that is incredibly effective. So, I've heard this next piece of information probably a dozen times, and it never ceases to amaze me. In 2011, the average person under 65 in the United States had nearly 12 prescriptions written for them in a year. Once that person was 65 years or older, they had 28 prescriptions written per year. That's amazing. People who use Shackley products for more than 20 years had just 0.6 prescriptions written per year. I mean, so you can understand the amazing effect that Shaklee products have had, right? And talk a little bit more about that. Rick then talked to you about the what's known as the landmark study. Several years ago, the University of California at Berkeley did what is now known as the landmark study. They studied people who had been on non-Shaklee user supplements for 20 years, no supplement users for 20 years, and Shaklee supplement users for 20 years. So it's really three different categories, right? You either didn't use any supplements, used other supplements, and then you used Shaklee supplements. They found that those that used the Shaklee products were remarkably healthier than in every major category, every one. The scary thing is that the people who use no supplements are oftentimes healthier than those who took other supplements. Wow. And if you consider what Rick told us next, you'll understand because you only have to look inside those other supplements. Consumer Reports showed that dozens of popular protein powders contain mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and lead. Lead. Rick then showed us the label of Centrum vitamins that contain lubricants, surfactants, fungicides, herbicides, and dozens of other dangerous chemicals. Then in a picture that I'll never forget, Rick showed us an x-ray from a Denver chiropractor that showed how Centrum never dissolved in his patient. His comment was, now that you know what's inside this stuff, you're probably thinking, thank God it never dissolved. Shaklee, on the other hand, does over 80,000 purity tests every single year to ensure that what they say is in the product and that nothing else ever is. So getting back to Shaklee 180, Shaklee only uses 100% non-genetically modified soy in their smoothies. And the and the key to making it work is leucine. So let me just take a break and tell you a little bit more about leucine. Leucine is an essential amino acid. That means it cannot be manufactured by the body, but it is essential to its health and well-being. And what scientists at Shaklee have found that given the right amount of leucine in our diets, which you cannot get that amount from food, you really need between 10 to 15 grams. Leucine will trigger a pathway within your body and say it's okay for you to drop fat, but hang on to the muscle. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in a future slide. But the other thing that's critical of what Shaklee does, as I mentioned, it's all 100% non-genetically modified soy. Shaklee actually goes to the trouble of hiring independent third-party companies that will go in and verify and track the product all the way from seed all the way through delivery. And everything is verified non-genetically modified. It is also verified that it is better than organic. So what does organic mean? In an organic environment, you could follow all the rules around creating an organic product, but if you live upstream from a power plant, those toxins can come into your product. Shaklee will test every single piece of product that comes in to make sure there are zero contaminants. What they do is they extract the most potent part, the isolate, they extract that part, and then they cold process it. Most companies will go out and heat process it. Why? Because it's cheaper, quicker, and easier, and they can maximize the profit, but it denatures the protein. So all those big tubs of protein powder that you see in the store, we don't know of another company that actually cold processes. So if it's heat processed, that protein is absolutely worthless inside the human body. So one thing I do urge you guys to do is do some research on GMOs and find out exactly, I'm not going to spend time here, but just find out exactly what it is. It'll be quite eye-opening for you. So Rick then introduced you to Linda Bennett, a Shaklee 180 user. Linda lost an amazing 75 pounds using Shaklee 180. Even more incredible, prior to Shaklee 180, Linda was using 18 different prescriptions per month. Now she uses none, and she saves over $800 per month that she used to spend on medication. Okay, Rick then introduced us to Scott Mueller, who lost 33 pounds at 15 inches in just 4 months. His blood work improved in every major category. And guys, there's a Shaklee success story. So you can go in and just see dozens and dozens and dozens of people who've had the same kind of success. So I want to talk to you before going on with a little bit more about Rick's what he taught us. I want to talk to you about the diet cycle and what typically happens. So typically when people go on a diet, they decide to reduce their calories over what they have, right? So and it makes a lot of sense. But here's the problem: so you reduce your calories, your body starts losing weight. Typically, for every 12 pounds that you lose 5 pounds of muscle. That 5 pounds of muscle used to burn 250 calories per day. So, said another way, your metabolism is now 250 calories per day slower than it used to be. If you lose 24 pounds, you lose 10 pounds of muscle, and that slows your metabolism down by 500 calories per day. If you lose 36 pounds, you lose 15 pounds of muscle. That slows your metabolism down by 750 calories per day. And what you find is that it soon becomes mathematically impossible to lose weight. And this is what's known as the famine response, right? Your body thinks when you start losing weight, it thinks it's being starved. It doesn't know that there's stores everywhere. It still thinks it's, a caveman days and you're going to have to go out and do hunting and gathering. So it believes a famine is coming. And what it does is it starts saying, all right, I want to hold on to the fat as much as possible because I know my body can live longer on that fat than it can the muscle, and I want to burn muscle. And that's the exact opposite of what we want to happen. So again, this is called the famine response, and it reduces your metabolic response 250 calories, 500 calories, 750 calories, and it increases your fat storage. Right. So what happens is we'll see this all the time, right? People will lose weight right at the beginning, then the famine response kicks in and they stop losing weight and they're suffering going through this diet. So they fall off the diet, right? And then they go through the feast response. They go back to their old way of eating, but this time they have less muscle and their metabolism is slower. So they regain the weight that they had lost, and quite often they gain more back. Then they find another diet and they go back on, and the whole process reverses itself. As we talked about in the early slide, Shaklee 180 with leucine, leucine changes this, right? So when you reduce your calories, you can then eliminate the famine in response. What leucine does is triggers a motor pathway in your body and says, it's okay. I know I'm losing weight, but it's just fine. Go ahead and burn the fat and keep the muscle. Rick then went on and introduced us to an amazing program that Shaklee put together called the Refer 3, Get Yours Free. A little later in this video, I'm going to tell you more about the system we created that will help you build your business by getting customers and other distributors to join you. The good news is that once they do join you and you tell them they can get their product for free when 3 other people they recommend buy the product also, they'll be thrilled to help you build your business. And once those 3 people get their product, you tell them about a Refer 3 program, get theirs free, and then they recommend more people so they can get their product for free. This is a very, very easy way to build a system. So let's see. Here's an example. Jane here this becomes a Shaklee 180 customer. She wants to get her product, so she tells her 3 friends what an amazing weight loss product that she's been using, and then they join. And then when each one of them, you talk to them about getting their product for free, and then they go recommend 3 and you build your customers. This is a quick, really great way to get your 20 customers. So, and Rick talked to you about the Shaklee 180 compensation plan. It's known as the Dream Plan, and it is considered the Cadillac of the industry. It is the best income producing compensation plan anywhere in this type of network. So I would recommend that you go back and take a look at it, but he walked you through an example of how you can earn up to $100,000 in income and bonuses, in 15 months. I also talked to you about the fact that Shaklee can will pay for your car, when you hit levels, and they're also going to you can become eligible for a couple amazing vacations per year when you qualify. And the cool thing about these vacations is Shaklee pays for everything. They pay for your airfare, your hotel, your sightseeing, all your food, your drinks, everything. The only thing you pay for is the cost to get yourself to the airport and back from the airport. And these are incredible vacations. I'll give you a quick example. The recent trip to Paris. If you go to Paris and you go to the Louvre, you can often wait hours just to get in the building, the art museum, and then hours, to go see something like the Mona Lisa. Shaklee and Roger Barnett actually went in and rented the Louvre just for Shaklee people, so they had access to the entire museum themselves. I mean, it's just an amazing thing what they do. Really, the great thing about the Shaklee compensation plan is there's no limit to how much you can make. If you want to work to build a business that pays you $1,000 a month, you can go build that business. But if you want to build a business that pays you $1 million a year or more, you can go build that business too. It's up to you. And where else can you do that? And don't forget, the power of leverage will keep you building your business year after year, and the residual income will keep paying you year after year. Does this come with a guarantee? No. Your success will be based on the efforts that you put in. But isn't that the best news of all? Now that you understand these concepts, let me show you what our team has done to remove all the guesswork so that you can follow a step-by-step system to building your business. So when you first get started, this is going to be you and here in the center, and that circle around you, um, it really represents the people that you know in your network, or the people that you know in your life. It's family, friends, and coworkers. And the first step in our program is going to be teach you some very simple ways to expand your network, to get to know more people so that they can start to hear your message. Then what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to brand yourself as an expert, right? Very, very simple to do. When you follow our methods, people will see you as an expert in the health and wellness industry. And do you know what? When you finish our training program, you will be an expert in the health and wellness industry. Branding yourself, as we teach you, will be the first step in a process known as magnetic marketing or attraction marketing. The concept behind magnetic marketing is that customers will seek you out. Those who are overweight will beg you to help them. And when we started using these methods, and our business exploded. I'll give you a quick example. One afternoon, we decided to take our family to the local pool, and we were overwhelmed by the number of people who came up to us asking us for help. And it was all because of these methods. Once customers contact you, we'll teach you a very simple way to provide them information on Shaklee and help them make a decision. Remember, this is not about selling. All you have to do is get them some information in their hands and let them make the decision. Once they learn about Shaklee, most will decide to become customers. And remember, they sought you out. Once they become customers, we're going to show you how to teach them about the Shaklee Refer 3 Get Yours Free program, where they can get their product for free when 3 other people join them. They will then help you get 3 new customers, and then those customers will want their product for free, and they'll get 3 new customers, and your customer base will grow and grow, and so will your personal network. Finally, we're going to show you a simple 5-step process for people who want to build a great home-based business. The first step is to find your leads. We've developed a very simple method using Facebook and several other things to help you find people. But there's several other ways that we've used as well, and we're going to teach you all these. Next, you're going to have a 5-minute phone conversation with them. We'll provide you with a complete script for this call. You won't need to tell them anything about the program. All you have to do is find out a bit more about what's driving them to want to build a home-based business and get them to this video series and schedule a follow-up call with them. And guys, quite honestly, probably almost everyone on this webinar or going through this video series has followed that same exact process. Once they watch this video series, you'll have a follow-up call with them and answer any questions they might have and ask them if they are ready to join. If they say yes, you show them how to sign up and send an email to them with a file that contains all the information for our second training series. Now, the second training series will teach them everything they need to know about Shaklee and how to get started in their business. And that's what we're going to provide you once you join us. You and everyone on our team then acts as a mentor and answers questions along the way. Now, following their arrow back to the top, you're going to teach them how to expand their network like we just told you. And then they're going to learn how to brand themselves. Then they're going to learn how to use magnetic marketing to get customers begging for them how to use the product. And they're going to follow the whole Refer Get 3 program to get even more customers. And then they're going to learn our simple method for finding people who want to start a home-based business to put them through the system above. Now, we created this system for 3 reasons. First, if you remember back to our first video, we talked about owning your own life. It was about creating a balance of time and money in your life. How is there a balance of time and money if you have to spend hours and hours trying to explain that, Shaklee and how to build a business and so on? With our system, you spend a few minutes on the phone with them and then get them to this video series and explain it, and then follow up with a short call and explain it to them. Second, this system is very, very duplicatable. Let's say the system didn't exist, but you wanted to build a business anyway. You worked and put together an amazing 2-hour presentation that you could give to people that would explain the business to them. And you set out to present it to 10 people. What do you think most of them would be thinking? They'd be thinking, oh, that sounds pretty cool, but I could never give a 2-hour presentation like that. They would say it's way too complicated, I don't have the time. With our system, we teach a simple way of finding to help you find people, give them a script for a phone call, and then that lasts 5 to 10 minutes, and get them to watch this video series and then get out of their way. Of course, we follow up with them, but we let the system do all the heavy work and all the training and all the explaining. Do you see how powerful that is? So now you have a decision to make. You've been introduced to the concept of owning your own life and how building a distributor business like the one Shackley can offer you can build an amazing residual income. You've learned about the amazing effectiveness and quality of Shackley products. You've learned about our training system that will help you build your network. And you've learned about the system and exactly how you can use it to have both time and money available to do the things you want to do. You now have to decide if this is the right choice for you. When you join our team, you have our commitment that we will provide you with all the tools, training, and support that you need to build a business as big as you want. You will be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. If you're ready, call the person who sent you this training series and join our team by becoming a Shackley 180 specialist. They will then get you started with our second training series, and they will work with you so that you too can own your own life. I look forward to meeting each of you and working with you in the near future. I wanted to leave you with one last image. Remember back to Rick's video, and he introduced you to Master Coordinators Carol and Al Hagerman. Their Shackley pays them more than $3,000 per day. Do you think they own their own life? So the question is, if they've done it, why can't you? So again, thank you guys for being part of this video training series. It is my sincere hope that you join our team and we can work together and work with you to help you build a great home business. God bless everyone.